Okay, welcome to Mr. C's Intro to Web Design class. We're taking off where we left off before. Homework, Caleb and Caden, no, I saw Caden's homework. I don't remember whose homework I need. Lane's, I think. Caleb and Lane, if you could email me your homework, that would be great. To Mr. C at mrcscience.com. Going forward, any correspondence or email will go that way, so if you have any questions, contact me there. You access this via my videos link on mrcscience.com/videos. There, as well as the link to this video, will often be other text and files that you may need. So let's go ahead and get rolling. You should have your editor open. I'm going to go relatively quick, but you can always stop or rewind this video if need be to catch up. So what I want you to do is I want you to create a basic HTML page. You're familiar with this. Title it Images. So in this HTML page, we're going to work with the image tag. We've done this before, but not a lot. So an image tag is just an IMG tag with no closing image tag, just IMG. Inside of there are a couple property we care about. We're going to worry about source. Source is where we get the image. So say I've got an image that's called 1.jpg. I want to show that on the page. I'm going to put that there if the image lives in the same directory as my HTML file. Say I have a subfolder like we did with our project, subfolder of images, and I put all my images in there, then I would put my subfolder in and then the name of my file. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to use some images that are already on my server. So we're going to reference images that don't even live where our file does. On the videos link, you should have seen there was some text there for this that lists these image URLs. You can copy and paste them, or you can retype them in, but you got to make sure you get everything exactly right. I'm going to grab the first one, which is 1.jpg. I'm going to go back to my images here. I'm going to paste it in. Okay, now if I save this and I view it, oops. This is where we're getting. I've restarted this video a number of times. We've got an image. So, cool. That's how you put images on the page where you want them. Now, let's do this. Wrap your image in a div tag. Remember, a div tag, really all it does is adds a character. Make sure there's a line break before and there's a line break after. So it separates content. So, inside that div tag after my image, I'm going to add some text. This is an image of a city with buildings and cars and a train, and if you search hard enough, you may find Waldo. I'll let you in on a secret. Waldo is not in the image, so you don't need to go looking for him. Okay, if I save that, then I go back to my thing and refresh. Boom. There's my image, then my text. My text wraps because of the size. It just continues on. So basically, the image has no breaks before or after. So if I wanted to, I could come here and let's just cut a chunk of the text. Control X. And add it before the image. Still inside the div tag. And now if I refresh again, then here, let's make it a little wider, then you can see what's going on here. So here's the text, then the image, and the rest of the text. So the image just kind of lies within the text itself. It's like a span tag. I'm not sure if we talked about span tags, but if not, we will. I'm going to go back to this, go back to here, so I'm going to put this back. Oops. There we go. Everything's back to normal. So now, this is useful, but not great. So I'm going to add some CSS to make this interesting. First thing I wanted to do is identify my image. So I'm going to add an ID to this image since that's the only, you remember use IDs when it's only one thing that you're attempting to change. If you have multiples, then use a class. I'm going to call this ID image1. Okay. I'm going to do inline styles, so I'm just going to go down here and create a style tag. Opening and closing, and here now we can put our styles. Remember, to target an image, we want to use the pound or hashtag image1, and then our curly braces. Everything inside those curly braces will be added to our image, or will be applied to the image1 tag. So first thing I want to do is we can control height and width of our image. If I just put in one or the other, remember it will keep the proportions the same and adjust the width. So if I change the height, it will adjust the width. If I put them both in, then you can get some strange things. Let's drop our height down to 100 pixels and watch what happens. So if I put my height on my image, shift refresh, now it's much smaller. It's dropped down, it's tinier. Okay. Now that's still good, but wouldn't it be nice if this text were up here and just kind of flowed? In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, where's my minimize? Oh, there it is. Going to minimize so it's already kind of flows already. And now I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to add another cascading style sheet, another style. This style you haven't seen before, or maybe we played a little bit. It's called float. I'm going to have it float left. Now it's already on the left side, so you'd think that wouldn't make a lot of difference, but float colon left semicolon. So now if we go and refresh, now the text will stay on the right. If I come and I copy this text and I add a bunch more, there we go. If I copy that text, I add it 5 more times. Now watch what happens. Boom. It stays to the right. If I add another couple, there we go, I added 3 more. Save it. It wraps. It stays to the right and then it wraps around. Now it's really close to my image, so you can use things like margin. We can add a margin to our image. Margin, if we just make it, let's make it margin right, or margin dash right, sorry. Let's add a 20 pix margin and see what happens. So if we go back here, shift, refresh, boop, now we got a margin. That's maybe a little large, but let's see what's going on there. So let's reduce it. Let's add a little, I don't know, let's leave that there, but I'm going to show you what's going to happen here in a second. Okay, so now that's float left. Now what if I float right? So I changed my float left to float right. Saved it. Shift, refresh. Now it's on this side. Now my margin's over here, so it's right up against here again already. But float left, float right. Trying to remember if there was a float middle. I should have looked this one up, but let's just find out. Or a float center. I don't think there's a float center. Let's see what happens just for the fun of it. No, it's just acts like a normal image at that point. It doesn't recognize it, so it's got its margin here, and then it just adds everything off. So, okay, so I'm going to Control Z, leave that at right. We'll play with that later. So, okay, so we've got an image. So you can use this to place your images. So if I placed another image, let's say halfway through, let's just do a new image tag. img src equals, we'll put in the source here in a second. I'm going to give this one an ID of image2. There we go. So we got a new image there. I'm going to go get my second image, image 2 source. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to, whoops, wrong one. I'm going to go here. Oh, that's what I was doing. And I'm going to paste it. Now, right now, it's going to look really funky because if I go in here and shift and refresh, boom, now there's my second image. Now, this image is so big you can't really tell what's going on. But so let's start by going down here. Let's go to our pound image 2 and let's add a height to this one. Let's make this one also 100 pixels. Then we can see a little bit what's going on. So if we go there, come back to here, shift, refresh, boom, there you go. So this one floats right, and so everything's to the right, and then this one just acts like it's in line, so everything falls off the in line there. Now if I go here, and let's float this one left. And see what happens. Okay. Now, shift, refresh. Now, it stays to the right, it stays to the left. Let's do this. Let's add some margin to this one. Let's go margin, colon, let's just add a 10 pixel margin around here. Let's change this one to just plain old margin, and let's make it 10 pixels as well. Okay, so now we got a margin around each. That'll clean things up a little bit. And refresh. There, now you've got text that flows between the images. So you can play with your images like this, get them to move around. Good way to do it. I'm going to stop the video right here because it's getting kind of large, and then I'll create a second video with homework.